Hey guys, welcome back to Maxplained Dawn of War Unification. Today I have another faction guide for you, this time for the Adeptus Mechanicus Explorators. There are no big new units since my last guide to them, but it has been too long and too much adjustments has been taken place. And it's also quite a small faction, so I thought I'd redo the guide for the version 7 here. So the AdMech are your half human half machine kind of faction, has some very unique style and gameplay elements, but yeah, we will see that in the saved game where I explain everything for you which I have prepared. So see you there. And here we are in the saved game. Before we jump into the units and building stuff, we will quickly mention about the unit caps and resources. The resources are the standard requisition and power. You get that from your HQ and from listing post. The requisition power you get from your bigger plasma core here, but also every listing post has the ability to turn off and on power surge, which exchanges your requisition income for power. It's not one-to-one, you get a little more power than you spend requisition for it. There are no direct resource increasing researches. This is all tied to the tiering. So you see here that there's I have already plus 20% income because I'm in the latest tier in terms of power, that is. Your HQ also starts with 20 requisition income, and with your first add-on here this goes to 30, so you have some more income from your HQ as well, so the economy is very healthy. In terms of caps, you start off with 8 infantry cap and 1 vehicle cap in tier 1, and then you have from your defensive posts here you can get upgrades to that 3 times until you get to the standard 2020. It's like called data value yellow, orange and red respectively, which also has some effects on the squads as well. So this is the resources and unit caps, so we can now jump into the buildings. The buildings are only a few. You start off with your machine reliquary, which is similar to, let's say, Necrons, the only building you can produce stuff out of. So they suffer the same issues that Necrons does. So if something locks down your HQ, you're screwed by a bit. It has some shooty bits on it. The first one starts with a heavy bolter in tier 3, I think, or tier 4, depending, I'm not remembering it correctly. And in tier 4 or 5 you get instead of, or in addition to these heavy bolters, some lasers, las cannons on the side as well. So this is your HQ. It can deep strike some stuff like the Hellstalker unit, and yeah, produces your units, all your units that is, except of 1. Then you have your STC searcher, which is a listing post that can be upgraded either in tier 2 to a research station. It starts very low and gets then bigger, or a defensive station. And the research station of course gives you all different researches which I haven't all researched here. Yeah, and also produces the Skull Swarm and this is a supportive unit, and this is your flyer unit. The defense post does this as well, but only have the researches for your unit caps and stuff. So yeah, and these listing posts, as I said before, you can turn on and off the power surge to get power exchange, and yeah, that's about the listing posts. And last but not least, you have these advanced plasma core, which is basically the thermoplasma generator. Important about all these buildings, they have an aura which regenerate memory, and we will come to the concept of memory now actually, because we go to the units. There are 2 kinds of units, units that do not need memory and units that need memory. You can see here your standard units they do not need memory, as they do not have this green circle around. Units with this green circle around do need memory. Memory is basically shown in this morale bar, 50. If this reaches 0, they cannot attack. They basically do not move, only very, very slow. So basically shuts down the unit. You can think of it as like a Wi-Fi signal. And there are units that grant this Wi-Fi or give you a bonus to the morale bar, to the connection. What is it called? Constant link so you need a link to not get broken. And yeah, all buildings project an aura which increases the link, the morale bar of these automatons. This is the concept about it, and now we jump to the units. First off, the builder and commander units. The builder units is this maintenance servitor squad. You actually start with one servitor squad with only one model, so you have one builder directly from the start. These guys double down as your combat units. They start in melee, but you can see they also can get heavy bolters, plasma cannons and multi-melters later on, so they double down on a supportive role. So that's your... Okay. I think this is here from Leman Russ a little loud. But yeah, this is your first builder units. All your commanders can also build, so we jump over to the commanders in 1 second before we look at the Skull Swarm. The Skull Swarm is a supportive unit that grants some data link aura and can be attached to squads, so you can attach that to this squad, for example, here, and to those as well, so you have then constant data connection. They also grant some passive bonuses like health regeneration, they can repair stuff, and they also get later on some shooty bits. There are 2 upgrades for the Skull Swarm in your research post, making that better and stronger over time. Your commander units, to start off in tier 1 you can get the Magos Explorator. She starts off without these Electro Priests around. She is okay-ish in combat, has a variety of abilities, which is, for example, the Chant of Revival, which gives data to all units around and also makes their data thingy not deplete for a short amount of time. She also can call down turrets, which I will show you here, because I haven't shown you when I was talking about the buildings. But this is now shooting here because this guy is an opponent. So you can a turret here which can be upgraded by las cannons or cry guns. Let's quickly delete it here. So this is the only way you can get turrets. It's very strong in terms of DPS, but doesn't have the highest amount of health. So use it with caution. And the last one is Deus Ex Machina, which is basically a shutdown of enemy buildings, similar to the Wraith. What is it called? Wraithbone? No, Wraith Tomb from the Elder. With the data value stuff, she can also get these Electro Priests, which are basically helping her to build and repair faster. You see here, can repair buildings and vehicles at almost 0 cost. Provides additional protection and melee combat support, so they also can fight. Very nifty thing about the Magos Explorator and all the commanders here, that she can repair herself. If she has some damage, she can repair herself, which makes her very viable in terms of tankiness, because without these Electro Priests her HP isn't the highest, but with this little trick, if you know it, you can sustain in fights a little longer. The second commander you get in tier 2 is your Archmagos. I only have it here like from the quote-unquote enemy, because if you research data value red, he turns to the Archmagos Prime. Has the same abilities but cannot attach to squads. He can attach to squads and provide some data value. Has this little less gun here, so he is kind of good against vehicles as well. Quite long range, can teleport. You can see it here, can teleport, can also build. Like she can also build here all the buildings with the 3. He can build as well. He has also the Chant of Revival, which we had over here, granting some data link and data link loss immunity. Can teleport, as I said. Can also cast call in a Thunderbolt Strike, which is very quick and very good damage on it. The cooldown is okayish as well. And the last ability is the Blessing of the Omnisire, which restores a large amount of health of the selected vehicle. So very good at instantly getting a high health repair on vehicles. So very good commander, especially once he got to the Archmagos Prime. The health isn't the greatest you see here, but it's commander armor, so a very nice commander in that. So that covers the commander and builder units and supportive units. We will now jump over to the infantry units. Infantry units, the first one you have access to is the Hyspaspids. These guys are very versatile. You can see here, can get up to 6 different weapon loadouts. I got 1 each just to show you a bit. Can also get the Hyspaspids Alpha. Hyspaspids Alpha is locked behind tier 3, so it will take a while before you get access to him. And there's also Reacher, which gives this guy the Alpha the Orb of the Omnissiah, which is basically a stun grenade. They are relatively cheap for what they do. They also have upgrades increasing their HP by quite a bit, which also then increases what they cost. You can see here they currently only cost 180. When I get the first armor research, they cost then 240 and 30. With this next research, I think it also increases, yeah, to do 360. And then the final, because it helps with their weapons, gets the cost up to 360 and 90. So they get really expensive because these upgrades make them really durable. Look at the HP on those guys, also damage buff and all the good stuff. So they scale very well, even to tier 3, tier 4 territory because of the weapon options, and as I said, these upgrades. The HP gets really high with those guys. Very important unit. You need to field at least 2, better 3 as soon as you can in the game. In tier 2 you can add these Praetorian squads, which is an automaton unit, so you need some data link for those. The best way, as I said before, is to simply attach a skull probe to them, so you do not have to micro them too much, so they automatically have this aura, also getting the regeneration aura from the skull swarm as well. They start with these standard guy in the middle and can add to 4 different variants, up to 5 later on with the data value increase. There's a melee Praetorian, which, yeah, what does it say? Advanced comments over this, incredibly tough and well-equipped unit, equipped melee, can cripple opponents. Sounds like he can stun. Then we have a support Praetorian, which starts with heavy stubbers. 2 heavy stubbers, that should be this guy over here, I think. Then you have the shield Praetorian, which is this guy, which is also very tanky and has a shotgun. And last but not least, we have the sniper guy over here, which has long range and take down enemies with a single shot. So he can do a sniper guy. In the previous version, so the support Praetorian with these heavy stoppers were the best because they dealt a hell of a lot of damage. This has been fixed, so all these guys are now valued depending on the situation. So this Praetorian squad is something you can always go in tier 2 because it's very versatile. In tier 2 you can also add these skateboard guys, the Assault Hispaspids, which are also very versatile in terms of the weapon loadout. The Assault Hispaspids Alpha also gives you this Operative Omnissiah, is also hidden behind tier 3. They can jump, they are very fast, they're very deadly. They can also infiltrate, which makes them infiltrated, haha. And but in that I thought it would decrease their weapons, but it doesn't show here. It's just a temporary infiltration, which is kind of helpful as well. So these guys are rather expensive, but they do not receive all the HP bonuses, I think, and do not get that much more expensive. Okay, they're also increasing costs a bit with some of the upgrades, so you want to have them out as well. I think they do not benefit from the first armor or one of the researches, but it states there. The last unit, which is a tier 4 unit, are these Cataphract class robots, which is also automatons, very good at range and melee, commander armor. So these are your tier 4 tanky and damagey stuff. You could compare them to Terminators, for example, but with commander armor, so they are more durable. All the automatons have also this ability here, emergency recharge, which you can use once in a while, which restores your data link once, but also halves your maximum data link for quite a while. So this is, as it states, only emergency. If you use it, you only have then half the link, which makes it very hard to get them into data link all the time. So only use this in emergency or in special opening scenarios. These are your infantry units. Now head over to the vehicle units. AdMech is one of the factions that has vehicles in tier 1 in this Warrior of the Omnissiah. It in this version now requires you to have point captures before you could get him immediately, so it would run over to the enemy base and annoy workers and stuff. This now has been delayed by a bit. He has also a little slow movement speed. This guy has also, you can see here, a variety of options. In tier 1 it's only the flamer, in tier 2 it's the multi-laser and autocannon, and later on it's the las cannon. multi-melter and plasma cannon. So very versatile. Has only 800 HP, but there's a research over here which increases the HP. The first one increases just the HP to 1000, and the next one is that he does not require data link. So he's an automaton that requires data link. With this upgrade he does not require data link, and this ability then gets changed, which gives him temporary immunity, but it cannot move, and I also think can also not attack. So this is just to keep him safe for a bit. In tier 2 you get access to these Hellstalkers. These Hellstalkers are starting out in a melee loadout, but can get like these Inferno Cannons or Chemical Cannons. They also start off with less HP. There's an upgrade that increases the HP quite a bit. Later on they can also get Melter Cannons. They can teleport and they can deep strike from the HQ, which has quite a nice animation. So they burrow underground and then come out of ground from the other side, have this emergent recharge, and once you upgraded it, they can turn into an orbital stalker. You basically click it and then they change to this unit, which is a ranged only unit which can target ground, which summons in this big boom shot. So very good disruption. About the damage I'm not that sure, but the range of it is quite high. So it's an artillery priest then. Also has of course this emergency recharge as it is an automaton. That's for tier 2, and the upgrade for the Orbital Stalker is tier 3 or tier 4, I'm not really sure. In tier 3 you get access to the Atos Combat Drone, which is an infiltrated drone, very mobile. Has also a little more morale bar, a little more data link before it runs out, so very useful in that. Limited to 4, I think. To 5 actually, so it can be quite a good hit squad. The price is okayish as well. Yeah, I think the biggest part of it is that it is infiltrated, so it can be very handy, especially against factions that do lack detection or good detection. But yeah, in general, a good harassment unit can use the emergency recharge. It only drains 25, so the emergency recharge on this is not as punishing. Big tier 4 unit is this Leman Russ King pattern. Leman Russ King pattern starts off without this big shield, without this Hunter Killer missile, and without this heavy stubber, so there are some upgrades to it. And the special thing about the Leman Russ King pattern is that it has a random weapon loadout. I tried to calculate the options, but it has like a main cannon, 2 side cannons, and 1 cannon at the front, which means 4, 1, 2, 4, even 5 different weapons. 1, 2, 3, 4 weapon options. And 5 weapons, 4 weapon slots, and I think it's about 5 different weapons. So you can make the math yourself. It's like a hell of a lot of options. You will never see one Leman Russ that is the same. We can quickly check here if I build another one. This name has now a battle cannon and a plasma cannon on the side, heavy bolter there. Could you please not fire? And yeah, and at the front a cry gun. If you now delete him and build another one, it now has plasma cannon at the front, a cry gun at the side, and I don't know, this looks like a bugged model because it's an old mod, flamey stuff, and this looks like an autocannon. You see, it's like what is it called, like these eggs from this is surprise eggs, so never know what you get. They are limited to 2, so you can get 2. With the upgrades they have this Hunter Killer missile and also this Wrath of the Omnissiah. He can overcharge its shield and stun every vehicle, including himself, around it. Also friendly units are stunned with it, so use it with caution. More of a last resort thingy than an actually useful thing. But yeah, that's that. In tier 4, with the critical location, you get the mobile land Leviathan, the mobile base, which turns your base to a mobile base, but it's limited to 1, which is basically like your Necron Monolith. Can walk around, can shoot or drive around, can shoot stuff, can build in the field. Very useful unit in that. So this is the relic unit, and you also have one Titan unit you can see over here, which is the Knight Paladin. The Knight Paladin is a knight, is a tier 1 Titan, so it requires a relic and a critical location, has different weapon options as the usual knights, and also has the store Void Shield. So it has shields, which is similar to other Titans, which takes or reduces damage it takes until the shield is depleted, but you can also restore it. So can we quickly give you some damage? No, but you can click it and restores the shield. So he is more tanky than he looks. For Titan, the HP is okay-ish, but what really makes him strong is this morale bar. Also has these top-mounted missile launchers as an upgrade to him. I think this covers all the units and stuff over here. So as usual, guys, we now jump into the tech tree where I quickly show you some tier availabilities and talk about tier strengths before we then jump into the build orders. And here we are now in the tech tree document. I, as usual, have it for you to download. And I have a little color code for it. All units that do not require data link are red, and units that do require data link are blue. So anything with a blue outline needs some data link. Yeah, starting from your HQ over here, you see all the units and requirements. This is a strategic point you see here. This is a relic and a critical for your Titan and stuff like that. One special thing I didn't mention in terms of buildings earlier is that you can get in survival a special survival turret. So you do not need, you're not reliant on your not Archmagos, your Magos Explorator to call in turrets every now and then. You can actually build some in survival, of course. And yes, the big part here is the way this is set up for the STC searcher, because you can upgrade it to defensive post or research post. This looks very confusing because it is confusing. Some of the upgrades can only be built on the research center 2, some of can be built in research center 1. So this is a little all over the place, but yeah, it is shows the different availabilities for the researchers throughout the tiers. Later tiers, better researches. You see the Orbital Stalker, this should be this one, is tier 4 actually. So there you have that. In terms of tier strength, I would say the biggest strength the Adeptus Mechanicus has is in tier 2, because then you have the first good upgrades for your Warrior of the Omnissiah and your Hispaspids, as well as getting some really good units out like the Hellstalker and the Praetorians and stuff like that. In tier 3, mostly you have upgrades which makes your existing units stronger, which is also good-ish, and you have these drones, so tier 3 can be good as well. And then once you're tier 4, you can get the Leman Russ, which is also a big kicker. Tier 5 you only have, oh, you see the mobile base also requires tier 5, which is a little thing that I would change once these guys get they will get some love once the other AdMech faction that is on the works will be out in terms of models. Yeah, in terms of support, they are very well supported all around. And yeah, you have here now you see the passive ability here means that is the aura for the data link. Quickly jumping over to the units, you see that they have a lot of abilities. You see these guys passive and active abilities. They also detect and stuff. The builders over here, all well and shown here, the weapon availabilities throughout the tiers for you to have a look if you want. Later tiers, later weapons as well. So there you go. What do we have here? The aircraft and vehicles, and here the units you have access to in survival. In survival, the bonus units are over here. You get an extra warrior and Hispaspids, Hellstalker, Leman Russ, and then another Titan, which is really nice to have. Yeah, and with this out of the way, I now quickly jump into the build orders. And here we are now in the build order document where I have a few build orders, and it's actually only a handful. The one I call here standard doesn't need to be the best. It's something I call standard, so you have a decently timed tier 2. Depending on the game, there are other build orders that are better. So what I call standard here is that you get 2 Hispaspids into the Archmagos and then the Warrior. You can get a turret out, which I would recommend to in an offensive or defensive posture, depending on, and get some weapon upgrades, flamers or grenade launchers. Most of the time the grenade launchers are the ones you would prefer, but at some points, at some factions, for example against Chaos Demons, the flamers would be better. Then you can have a warrior and turret rush, which was very strong in the current, the previous version, because of the warrior being available so early. So if you want a warrior, you need to get a capping unit, which is your Hispaspid. So this guy caps the nearest point. Basically, you get the Archmagos and then a warrior before you then build another Hispaspid to cap stuff. With this build, it is really nice to have a point close to your enemy, so you can build a listening post over there to get some data link for your warrior, so to sustain it. And then you get a turret and maybe even another turret later on to help with your push or defense, depending on what you do. And then you have the Skitarii spam, which I really like. One of my favorite things to do is get like all 4 Skitarii, the Hispaspids, they are called Skitarii as well, and then a builder, or you can also get the Archmagos here for Archmagos. I also call it Archmagos, the Magos Explorator for an extended tier 1. And with this you won't get grenade launchers, so you can cover, these guys can cover each other. Very strong build order. And yeah, as usual, I also have a replay for you. It's a game of me against Mr. Bluetooth again. And this time I'm playing Adeptus Mechanicus and actually go for this build order, or a variance of this build order. So you will see turned out pretty well, I think. So yeah, see you in a second. And here are on the replay where I face Mr. Bluetooth as Salamanders on Meeting of Minds. And I play as Adeptus Mechanicus. On a big map like this with a lot of points, I would always prefer the Skitarii spam, which I do here, or at least get 3 Skitarii, so it's a little mixture of the standard opener and Skitarii spam. You see here, me here upgrading, reinforcing the first maintenance server you get once, because 2 guys give you more build speed than 1, but any additional unit does not, and these guys cost some resources, so you do not want to reinforce them to full if not needed. The capping order here for me is because I want to have, so basically I'm not wanting to get aggressive, I want to cap the map as fast as possible. So first guy goes over here, can to the relic, second guy goes over here, then to this strategic point, third guy goes over here, and then to this strategic point, and the last one gets right to the middle to meet the enemy over there. And then I have to decide if I go for a second squad of maintenance servitors or for the Magos Explorator, and I think I decide for the Magos Explorator, so I have her out because she is that useful around the map. So I can then go a little offensive once I have all my points. So this is economy focus early, and then a little bigger force attack later on the line. So I'm sticking to my side here, of course, so you see what I do and not what the enemy does. So it's more like if you play yourself. STC searcher build, these guys get some data link format before they run to the next STC searcher. And yeah, I forgot to shift click those guys for a bit, and I think those guys stand here around doing nothing for a bit as well. But this is mostly economy build up early on, getting all my points done before I then want to get aggressive later. So these guys, instead of standing here, could already start to capture the critical location. That would have been better. You see now the Magos Explorator is out as well. These maintenance servitors are busy building up everything, so they have their hands full. And I also get her to build a point over here. So I'm now not getting another maintenance servitor for now. Using the power on one thing already, seeing some scouts over here, and these Hispaspids will eat scouts for days. Getting some more units on my squads. I decided that this squad will not be attacking, but rather help me capture the map, so they will go to this side. Yeah, building more listening posts all around the map, and once this is built, the Magos Explorator can join the fun in the front. For now I just stick here with some models, and now we'll get, I think, yeah, some grenade launchers. You could have started a little earlier. They are quite expensive, but they're also quite good. And I see this point over here, which I can now force. You can see that it's already upgrading. I do not know this. So the first guy will have a grenade launcher now. There you go. Shooting some grenades at this, making this way more effective. And yeah, the third squad will help here in a bit. And I got lucky, this is only scouts. And against scouts, these grenade launchers really rule. I'm also a little late on getting the Explorator. You want her here a little earlier. This listening post has really long flaming range, which is kind of annoying for me. But yeah, I can fire from afar. Now I lost sight, so I need some unit coming in to give me some sight. I could actually target ground, which would be a good use of my time here. These scouts have snipers, actually. They try to snipe me, but they cannot snipe me if they lie on the ground, you know? So now in comes the Magos, and I'm now deciding what do I do here. Do I use the resources and get a turret out, or do I not? I think I want to first start tier 2 and then see how much resources I have left. So you see me here now clicking the tier 2 button, and the turret costs 250, so I can actually afford one. So I will put one down here. The turrets need to be put a little back so the enemy cannot just focus it down. So you see I target this, but the next free spot is here, so it is actually not in range of the listening post, which was my idea. You see here the damage is really high on this, so I need to repair this at some point, but also get some distance with the Magos Explorator in front, and then move all in with my Hispaspids over here. So I got lucky with the build order. Mr. Bluetooth Juice, like he killed some moddies with the snipers. Yes, I also now use the stun ability on the listening post, so it cannot fire back, which is very handy if you want to push the opponent. Also very handy against turrets. Now you see here, she repairs herself, so she eats a lot of damage but can also sustain. And here comes my last Hispaspids wanting to decap this point over there. This point is now back up again, but when I can kill this and deny this, I have quite the upside in terms of economy. Tier 2 is also now done almost, so I can then start to upgrade my listening post. So this is basically a dream for AdMech, starting with this good economy and tier 2. You sometimes need to invest way more in tier 2. So now I get also the advanced plasma core and now start to upgrade my points, I think. Max, not micro too much, upgrade your points. There you go. Research center in the back because it has no damage stuff, and the defensive posts in the front. Here comes now a problem for me, which is this land speeder. So it was very fast tier 2 from Mr. Bluetooth, and yeah, he does quite a lot of damage. He micros very well and focuses down one squad after the other to get morale down. Also these snipers killing quite a lot of units, but already in preparation, as soon as I was tier 2, I was upgrading this to a less cannon. This has now 2 less cannons, or even quadruple less cannons, whatever, dealing a lot of damage against vehicles when they come close. So you see here, once they come close, they attack. So these Razorbacks and land speeders will not deal as much damage. One squad of Hispaspids are killed. Funny enough, the chant of revival also restores morale in general, so you can use it as an AoE rally ability as well. She now repairs herself to get some damage away from her, and now I can start to attack over here, adding some melter guns for some anti-vehicle. Melter guns aren't the greatest against Razorbacks, but I need to have at least something. Wanted to capture this point, but quickly go away over here. What do I get for? I wanted to get for Hellstalker, but I need to get these data value yellow to get even more vehicle cap, because I have 2. I stated I have 1, but it's 2 because the warrior costs 2. Little miss thing on my part, but now I have the Hellstalker and immediately will get it in here to draw and fire from this Razorback and attack it in melee. The melee damage on it is quite good. Also gives me something he has to worry about because he has no anti-vehicle himself yet. So yeah, my plan is to get another turret over here, equip it with less cannons, so I have a better point, a better defensive stand over here. Do I do it? Come on, Max. Over here he does some base trading with this one land speeder, getting some value out of the land speeders. I cannot really get away from this position because it would then overrun and would delay my, or would, how should I say, make my position that I have worked so hard into nothing. Now we have some scouts with rocket launchers, so they can put a number on this Hellstalker as well as this turret. Still getting up this point over here, having a second Hellstalker inside. I need to upgrade some more points. You see here now this land speeder eating some savvy bits from this point over here. I think it would win, especially if it gets multi-melter. So the turret survives, has now less And as there's 2 Hellstalkers and my Archmagos over here building up the point as well. So this is looking really good for me so far. 3 Razorbacks is something to be feared of, but not if you have Hellstalkers into melee and also this last cannon shot. These Hellstalkers are mainly here to buy some time. And these Spellspits are trying to kill some more of those. Hellstalkers attacking something or just standing here? Oh, it was a scout, was it? Looks like it. 1 scout less for the course. Now I thought I can get in really nicely and stun this building, but you can see the Razorback gets out before I get the stun. So my idea was to stun the building so that there are no more Razorbacks, which wasn't the case. Archmagos is now out. I do not use the teleport ability, which is my bad. Also losing my building over here, getting some Hespespit upgrades, so they have like a lot more HP now. But yeah, need to run away anyways, because yeah, there's a lot of enemy firepower still. Still feeling good in the sense that I have this point covered, and this point yeah, he cannot get. So I have the resource benefit quite a lot in the sense. And now getting some maintenance servitors because I want to rebuild over here. My Archmagos getting attacked over here and then saps back a bit. But yeah, he goes more or less free on my base, but now I'm getting tier 3 as well. For now, my turrets are still here. He cannot really challenge my turrets, which is a big part here. I think, do I repair her? Not yet. I need to repair her. This is important. She's very important. Archmagos is as well. He can now call in some of these strikes if need be. So this looks really good. Some more sappy bits on this land speeder. And yeah, getting now another warrior because I thought I need some long range anti-vehicle, and this could be in these warriors. The warriors can get autocannons in tier 2, and once I am tier 3 they can also get less cannons. So this would be my mobile anti-vehicle. I would need for that also the upgrade for those guys, that they have more HP, because otherwise they would not sustain as well. You see the big boom from the Archmagos. Not sure if the HP upgrade also increases the heavy warrior heavy armor, also increases the armor class, increases armor class and health. So they are vehicle light now and will be vehicle met, so increasing their durability by quite a lot. As you see, one gets autocannons and the other one already gets a last cannon, so they can fend off these land speeders now and can also start being offensive in the enemy base. You see, once I think once Mr. Bluetooth sees them, then he calls it quits, because I now have long range anti-vehicle, which is mobile instead of just these immobile turrets. Also adding some ATOS drones because they're really good in general. There you see Rapier Armor Destroyer, which is very good against these warriors, but you see here that the HP increase already pays for itself, and I try to focus down this thing myself. This guy probably also gets a melter gun, so the one warrior will go down. Second warrior will focus it down still with the last cannons. Yeah, and there's the ATOS drones, which you see here do quite a lot of damage in general. You see here the damage is pretty substantial for it being a tier 3 flyer. Tier 3 isn't the best thing you can hope for, let's say, in terms of availability, but it's very mobile, invisible, and yeah, gets a lot of damage done in the meantime. So it all came down to this forward position, which I said the forward position for AdMech is really nice because you have some sustain for your units that need data link. So for the most part I didn't have those until late tier, in tier 3, early tier 3. Yeah, I could have gone also for some Praetorians, which would have been a nice call because they can get like these sniper Praetorians, so I could defeat snipers with snipers. And yeah, I got a little lucky on the build. He killed some Hespespits with the snipers, but overall I took the better of disengagements. Not to show you only my victories, I played the second game and then he more or less killed me in tier 2 very easily with Salamanders against AdMech, where I did another opener on another map. So yeah. As usual, guys, at this point, if you have something to add to my guide, if I said something wrong to you, please let me know in the comments. Yeah, and as usual, guys, thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Bye bye!